It's the end of August and it's time for a summer assessment. Eric was here on Thursday and we put in a full garden day, cleaning up, and I wanted to share with you the highs and lows of August. This is the first full month that I have spent in the garden this summer because I left for England May 21st, came back the middle of June, left the end of June for the southeast, and came back the middle of July. Promptly hurt my knee, and so that's been challenging working in the garden, but as long as I don't twist or dip too deep, I am okay. And I just stepped on a fig beetle on purpose. So it was like the Normandy invasion of fig beetles in my garden this year. They're 1.25 inches average size, and they sound like a major bumblebee flying by your head. Sometimes they will literally bonk into you. If they're going slow enough, you can swat them out of the air with your hand and step on them. I've been very lucky. They haven't eaten my figs, but I know that they are laying copious amounts of eggs in my wood chips. So I am not sure if the wood chips attracted more June bugs to my garden, or if we're just having in the area an infestation, but it has been incredible. They were living in my orange tree and my olive tree and this other neighbor's tree right beside us. I think it's kind of toning down now. They've done their damage and they're dying off. The adults exist to mate and make eggs and lay them, so it can keep on going. So, powdery mildew. That has been a battle I have not won. In fact, I may be throwing in the towel on cucurbits ever again. I tried so hard growing squash and melons and cucumbers and have only had modest success, very modest success, with one type of cucumber that I went out of my way to purchase because it was more resistant. It's actually resistant to downy mildew. I've managed to get a few cucumbers out of it, whereas all my other cucumber, squash, melons, oh, I tried so hard. I planted melons like 3 times. So far I've only gotten one like this, smaller than a tennis ball, a little bit larger than a ping pong ball, about the size of a golf ball. If you plant enough tomato vines, you're going to get some success. Now, some of my vines were absolutely devastated by powdery mildew and blight, but I've got a few that are hanging on, and I expect to get tomatoes till the end of September, at least on the Aunt Ruby's German green, because just sitting right here I can see 80 tomatoes. Yeah, at least, maybe 100. I took away almost every tomato leaf in my garden because it's all just covered in mildew. You cut a little stem and the powder just flies. It's like a powder puff. Just those particles fly off just from snipping the leaf. I have so many spores in this garden, it's overwhelming. And I have sprayed and sprayed and sprayed. Believe me, I've tried everything that is acceptable for an organic garden. But I don't want to discourage you. The reason that I have such a problem with powdery mildew right here is I am in a microclimate right beside the Pacific Ocean, and as you can see from the quality of the light, the sun is not shining. The sun hardly broke through the whole time I was in Europe, I was told. And this week alone, we had 2 full days where the sun never broke through. and every other day it was cloudy until noon. This is a perfect atmosphere for powdery mildew to thrive. And I'm sure you don't have this, so please don't be discouraged. Another huge problem this summer was spider mites. I have never had so much of a problem with spider mites. I thought they just like tomatillas. I grew tomatillas for 2 years and they were covered with spider mites, and I said, okay, I'm not growing that anymore. Spider mites are now all over my 4 o'clocks. I have 4 o'clocks growing all over the garden, and if you pulled back, yeah, any of these leaves, you're going to see spider mites to a lesser or more degree. I have been spraying with a spinosad, which is supposed to kill them, but once they get so everywhere, it's really hard to get on top of it. You know, the cast of characters for the summer has been fig beetles, spider mites, powdery mildew, and this mysterious either blight or bacterial spot on my peppers. The peppers left over from last year are succumbing just the way they did last year. So I have quarantined, kind of, all of my new peppers in the back of the driveway. They don't get as much sun, and when your peppers don't get as much sun, the peppers take longer to ripen. I'd rather keep them healthy and have fewer peppers than to see them all drop their leaves with this yellow. The leaves get limp and yellow and have spots on them. And of course, what's interesting, I mean, I find it fascinating, the whole cycle of life here, because you pull up a leaf, like I pulled up a leaf on this orange tie chili. There were mealybugs, there was an ant farming aphids, so there were aphids. The whole leaf was yellow, so in addition, it had that, whatever that thing is, it's got, you know, when a plant weakens, that's when all of the enemies move in. That's what I've observed. I've still got my cowpeas coming, and I'm hopeful that, what did I start with? 5 little plants, I think? And the vines are twisting all over, so I'm really hopeful I'm gonna get a nice bowl of cowpeas. But figs have been the big success story, I've got to say. Figs and tomatoes. Even with all of my mildew on my tomatoes, I've had a great crop because I planted a lot of vines. For the first time in my life, I made fig jam last weekend, and I made a video, which was my last upload, and I hope you watched it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please let me know if you'd like to see more cooking videos. I got invited to come down to Long Beach today for a fig jam contest, and so I'm taking my fig jam to Long Beach to be judged by some area chefs, and that should be fun. I've never made anything that's ever been judged. When I grew up, my mother always had something in the county fair, you know, some cake or pie or something. When I packed up all of her things, there was a whole box of ribbons just from her cooking. I really want to look at multi-species planting, and that's what I've done in several areas of my garden. And we're going to sort of deconstruct that, what I put in that, how well it did, and all that. Oh, that fig needs to be picked. I see a monarch butterfly, a hummingbird, and bees. I mean, a garden is a little slice of heaven on earth. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.